Man, how we doing? Hey, looking for get my thing of water. Out here on the front porch, Thursday afternoon, almost Thursday evening. And I was looking at one of my barometer gauges over here on a certain vessel. And this is why today's a great day. One reason why it's a great day is because my feet hit the ground and I was able to walk around, do the things that I wanted to do and needed to do, and God allowed me. Two is on that pressure gauge there, basically like a thermostat, it says it's almost 80 degrees. Now that is sitting in the shade on the porch. Now it has had some sunlight to it and everything else, don't get me wrong, but it's mainly been sitting in the shade. And the barometer gauge, which never really a barometer, it's the temperature gauge, basically says it's like between 75 and 80. And this is like 5:30-ish in the afternoon on a November evening, and it's almost like a April-May kind of day. So I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful day. And then on top of it, I was out earlier and got a box of these. I mean, all it is just Christmas lights that are like that's what they call it, indoor outdoor dome micro icicle lights. And the picture on the box, which it says it's a blue light, and you know, the picture on the box, it somewhat shows it as a blue light. It has more like a bluish white kind of look to it. But let me tell you what, when you plug them bad boys in, they are not bluish white. Those things are like, they're almost like a black light. They're that blue. And tell you what, for a Christmas kind of light, it has a really good kind of Halloweenish kind of theme color look to it. So now, originally I was gonna hang them up across my rafter form, but after I got them, I realized I don't have hooks for a rafter form. So what do? I string them up around my little board I have coming around the porch and across the back side, down the other side, and you know, I'll add one more thing to my redneck homestead, as I refer to. Or when I have people that's never been here before, I kind of joke with them. I tell them all the time, "Welcome to Hillbilly Hell," and that's like my little joke for it. And I wouldn't trade well, I probably would trade a couple places for it, but on average, yeah, I wouldn't trade anything for it. So now, if it was somewhere else in the county, a lot more acreage of spread, ponds, or a big old creek that ran through it, yeah, I would trade that in a heartbeat. Other than that, yeah, it just probably wouldn't happen. But yeah, I mean, there ain't nothing really special. I mean, this is just kind of like me popping up saying, "Hey, how we are? I'm still alive. Everything's going sort of well." There was a package that I was hoping to have sent off before today, but it's just not gonna happen, mainly because I'm missing a couple things that I had planned on putting in the box. And I will get the items that were supposed to be in the box tomorrow afternoon. I'll get everything cleaned up real good, put together. Now, I was going to make a couple loaves of my Italian pizza bread, and put them in a box and ship them down there. But here's the issue I have with it. I do not know how long my bread is shelf stable for, because I never made a loaf and left it on the counter to find out. Because if it sits on the counter, well, it gets eaten. So, I mean, I have an idea of how long my bread is shelf stable for, but I don't want to make something, put all the time and effort into making it, wrap it up, stick it in a box, and have to wait a couple of days to get it to the post office to ship it, and then for it to take another 2 to 3, maybe 4 or 5 days to get from here to there, because by the time they get it, well, there could be mold all over it, and it ain't gonna be worth the shit. So I'm just gonna wait and, you know, make my stuff. Like my bread wise, I'll make it early Monday and have it already in the I'm trying to wait to see who this is. Okay, they're going the other direction. It sounded like the same jackasses that think my roadway's a drag strip. But yeah, I don't want to make something and put it in a box and have it turn to crap, and when somebody gets it for the first time, you know, it might smell really good and everything else, but it's unedible, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna drag my feet a little more. I'm gonna send them a message, say, hey man, you know, I understand that, you know, you're really excited to receive this package, but you know, I don't want to make something, and I'm gonna explain to him, like I just explained to you all, that I don't want to make something for it to go bad before it receives his front door. And of course I know he's gonna understand. He's gonna be disappointed to some degree, but I'm gonna make up for that disappointment, because you know, he's been in Texas his whole life. He's never, as far as I know, he's never been outside a certain part of Texas. But there's a few things up here that I know that they don't have in Texas, and I'm gonna acquire a couple of items and try to wrap them up really good with some bubble tape and foam peanuts and a few other things to stick it in the box, and fingers crossed that, you know, it makes it down there without being busted or smashed or destroyed. Because I know once he gets it, he's going to be tickled pink. And but yeah, I mean, and then sometime this month I got a bottle. When I say a bottle, it's like a pint-sized jar of hot sauce. I got to ship to Missouri, and other than that, you know, that's pretty much about it for me. Unless somebody says, hey, you know, I want some of your pizza bread, or hey, I want some of your hot sauce, or I want some of your weapon grade chili powder, but I got a bunch of that on hand. But, you know, I'll ship anything to anybody. I don't care what it is. You know, there's one of the guys I knew a long time ago. He lived in California, in the LA area, and I shipped him like a lot of things that were considered banned by California, and it was comical because he's like, yeah, I have pictures of things, and he's like, I want one of those, I want one of those, I want one of those, and I told him, I said, well, give me an address where I can ship it to, and I'll mail you some shit. And of course he gave me like a P.O. box kind of thing, and I wrote down and I shipped it, and he received it, and like, I don't know, a few hours after receiving it, after going back to his place, he made a video of him opening the box up, and he's like, holy shit. I said, what? He goes, I can't have this stuff. I was like, well, you said you wanted it, and I told you, you know, give me a place and I'll ship it to you, and here it is. And he's like, he was like, yeah, you know, just because I'm not supposed to have it doesn't mean I'm not going to keep it. He goes, but if I get caught with it, yeah, it's a whole different ball game. And I was like, well, like I told you, what's legal here is illegal there, and vice versa in some ways. I said, so I mean, I don't care, don't bother my ass none. I was breaking rules and laws for the time I was old enough to walk and talk. So what's a few more underneath my notch of my belt gonna hurt me? So I mean, hell, when I drove over the road, I broke so many damn federal laws and state laws and city and county laws from just what I was doing in the truck driving over the road. And now a lot of y'all, that's never been in the truck, has never driven a truck, or knew anybody that has drove a truck, on the logbooks every day, when you sign your name to your logbook, and regardless if you tear it out of the book or leave it in the book, at the end of each day when you're signing your name to that piece of paper, that is a federal document. And I've lied so many times on those pieces of paper, filled out my mileage, filling out how many hours I'd driven a day, how much my load was. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I cheated and lied to the federal government like you wouldn't believe. And my companies get my logbooks, and they'd be pulling their hair out, cussing and screaming, we can't turn this in because it's so far illegal that we'd get in trouble for turning it in more than you would for doing it. So they had to go back and redo my logs and recalculate and all kinds of other shit. Of course, I would tell them a lot of times too, this is partial your fault. Because when I'm telling you as a driver, hey man, I got X amount of hours I can legally drive on, and you give me a load that legally and physically I'm not allowed to take, but I grabbed it and I would hook into it and I would shag ass and I would drive as far as I could before I could shut down. And a lot of times it was way past my hours of service. And yeah, but my companies would rate 9 kinds of hell with me, and I'm like, well then if you're so worried about it, quit giving me loads that legally I can't take. But hell, that was 20-something years ago. Seems like, truthfully, honestly, to me, it feels like maybe like a month ago I was in a tractor trailer driving down the interstate. But in actuality, hell, it's been like I said, 20 years. Every bit. 20 years since I've been on a tractor trailer as a commercial driver. But I guess in some ways it's a good thing I'm not in there. But I sure miss the pay, and I sure miss seeing the country, and I sure miss seeing some people. Now, most of the time when I drove over the road, I was Georgia, actually no, I was like Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, straight down to Florida, from Florida across to California, which, the whole southeast region, Midwest, Southwest, I was that all the way up I-5 to 25 and all that shit, going all the way up to the Washington State Canadian borderline, and then from there, from say like this is Washington State right here, and down here's Atlanta, Georgia, at a straight line diagonal, just like that. That was my running area, and man, I tell you what, I had a blast. Met a lot of good people, met a lot of dumbasses, seen shit that, I wish to God I never seen. A lot of death, a lot of death. And, but yeah, it was a job, kind of like the Army. The only difference was I wasn't getting shot at until I went to places like Los Angeles or New York or New Jersey or places like that. But you wouldn't get shot at all the time, but if you're in a bad area, that was when your main concerns is, you're just waiting for that one stray bullet to come across and nail you. But it is what it is. Great money in it, You just gotta be away from home for a while. And I've tried telling people younger than me, you know, like getting ready to get out of high school or around about that time period, you know, like even people going into vocational school, you know, man, just go get your CDLs, jump in the truck and just drive. I don't care if you make a profession with it, do it for a couple of years. You'll get to see the country, you'll get to see things that you don't want to see. Some things you'll laugh at, some things you'll throw up in your mouth a little over, but you know, it is what it is. But man, I had a blast. I used to have all kinds of pictures of driving out west. I couldn't tell what the hell happened to them. Actually, I know what happened to them, but I don't know where they're at. One of the best places I ever been out west was Tacoma, New Mexico. And there's an Indian travel casino there, and it's not too far from Laguna Pueblo. And that was another great place I used to go to, because they had these roadside shops and you could pull off the side of the road on the interstate in these little rest area places. And man, I bought tons of silver. Silver and turquoise and coral, I mean, you name it. I was decked out and loaded. Because, yeah, I just love silver jewelry. Especially the Indian jewelry, and then they had some stuff from Mexico there as well. But I mean, it was great. I loved it. Now, I'm sitting here jaw jamming away. I'm gonna pick up my camera a little bit and angle it, and hopefully you can see some of these lights that I have. Let's see if I can. Oh, there they are. Right. Oh, it bounced. But you can see them like right in here. See how blue those things are? Man, it's crazy. Let me see if I can angle this a little more. There we go. Look at them bad boys. Those things are blue as blue can be. I love it. I just know that if everything goes to plan, I'm probably gonna get some more of these. And if I have to, I'll save them. And because these are an outdoor light. But if I can get some more of these that are blue, now the only thing they have left at the store is white, and I don't like white. But if I can get some more of these blue ones like this, I'll put them back and I'll save them till like springtime, so I can wrap them up around again and add some more shit or something. And oh, these things are great, because what I want to do is get like these LEDs like these are right here, and instead of plugging it into the house to suck power, I want to get a solar panel, a couple solar panels, and some diesel or tractor batteries or bulldozer batteries or however you want to call them, and hook up a filter form from the solar panel to the battery, and use that during like the spring and summer and fall to make my outdoor lights shine nice and bright and everything else. And that's one of the things that I'm thinking, well, not thinking of, but trying to find somebody that can do the wiring work for me, that's not going to cause an issue and burn something up or burn something down in the process. And because once I can do that, there's other projects I'm going to do as well that deals with like an exercise bike, an alternator, and some belts, and wiring up a few things to use on the back porch when it gets built this year, for lighting, other than just using, you know, straight plug-in power. Use God's energy to the best of my ability to endeavor everything that I need to do. But yeah, this year's gonna be good, because here soon, and I say soon, I'm gonna have to go to, I have an appointment at an oral surgeon, and I gotta go in there and they gotta talk to me, can do some consulting shit and blah blah blah, and run some x-rays and find out exactly how many teeth are getting ripped out of my head, and which I already know, but they don't. And So probably between December and February, sometime in that time frame, depending when they can get me in and everything else. I'm not going to have any more teeth in my head, which, rolling cold. I'm not going to complain about it because a lot of my teeth are fractured and messed up because I haven't had dental insurance for so many years, and you know, it was like one thing after another. As soon as you get 2 steps forward, you know, you got to take 19 back, and so. But it'd be good to get them out of my head, take care of some of my issues I'm having with other things, but you know, then I'll definitely be a gumming and sucking an ear of corn. But I know people to this day that have no teeth whatsoever that can eat corn on the cob and chew a steak better than when they did have teeth. So I know it's possible. So that gives me a little bit of hope as well. But I'm gonna shut up. Well, it's just things I need to take care of, and you know, there is about an hour or so of daylight left before it gets dark 30, and like I said, there's things I need to take care of. Plus I'm getting kind of hungry. Go in there and fix me a pizza with some jalapeno peppers on it, some extra cheese and some ham and some other things to make it a little better, even though it's really, really bad for me. But hell, I ain't gonna die. I'm not gonna die of sex, so I might as well die of something worthwhile. So, but until then, y'all have a great and blessed day. And if I do go into the woods tomorrow morning, early afternoon-ish, I'll take my camera with me and the shovel, and so I can get some root. And you'll give me somebody to talk to when I'm walking through the woods by myself. So whoever passes me, if anybody passes me, they won't think I'm so crazy and insane. But until then, I'll see y'all again soon.